welcome to the Elise Morgan Experience podcast. I'm your host, Elise Morgan, and I have a wonderful guest today that I'd like to introduce. Her name is Sonia Pietruszka, and she is an accredited certified EFT tapping and energy makeover coach based in Chicago, Illinois. And she's the founder of Tap to Shine Wellness. Sonia specializes in personal empowerment and relationships, helping women navigate divorce and other life transitions so they can go from feeling lost and stuck and being in survival mode to feeling confident, hopeful about their lives and what lies ahead. So welcome, Sonia, and I hope I didn't mess up your last name too much.
Not at all. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for
did
being
remarkably
here.
Well, I've heard so many variations, so you did great.
Okay. So again, welcome. So tell us a little bit about yourself personally and how did you get into this unique way of helping people?
Yes. So I came into the EFT world from personal necessity. So before I get into the story, I just want to explain briefly. EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. We can also call it tapping. So I will likely refer to it both as EFT, just the acronym, and tapping. So I'm talking about the exact same thing in case anyone is like, she was just talking about something else.
Can you say that again? Because I never, I'm in this world of helping people too. And that's why I'm so excited to have you on the show, because I only know this much about it. And I know it's called tapping, but what does the acronym stand for again?
It stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques.
Nice.
So,
okay.
I mean, when I say this, I'm like, oh, I sound so cheesy, but I mean, emotional freedom, that's legit. Like, feelings are heavy, right? So when you don't have them weighing on you anymore, oh my gosh, it is like a different world. So with that, I came into using tapping out of personal need. So this goes back to the start of COVID. I was in a very rocky marriage at the time. And living in New York City. And so when the stay-at-home orders went into effect, I started working remotely, as did much of the rest of the world, right? And so that's when I started to realize, oh shoot, like I need something to help, because I felt like I was drowning in my own life. I didn't realize at the time, because it had become so normalized for me, but I was in a constant, like a chronic state of physical anxiety. That sensation of walking on eggshells, like, it's just like, it's always there. And I didn't realize that I was living that way until it was gone, which of course didn't happen immediately, but having no really respite from that environment, right? Work was the break, right? Leaving the house. And so with that not being accessible anymore, it was really challenging. And so I was in this space of just feeling like I need to do something, but I don't know what to do. Furthermore, talk therapy was something that did come to mind, but it was a non-starter for me, simply because I couldn't get the words out, right? Even to talk to friends and family, there's just so much shame around, the failed relationship. There's so many big emotions that to have to produce the language to articulate that was just asking too much for me at that point. And so I found in my email, in my inbox one day, this email with the subject line, "Tapping for Overwhelm," which was, of course, what I needed. And I wasn't sure how I got on this practitioner's email list, but at that point I thought, okay, I will try anything. Fortunately, I knew what it was, just because a few years prior I had taken some, like a freebie online course, and at the end they try to push you into another one, and the recommended course was this short, 5-day tapping program, which I was not ready for. I looked at it, I saw a video, I'm just like, what is this lady doing? It looks weird, I don't get it, maybe I'll come back to it, with zero intention of doing so. So ironically, it came back, and now I was ready to try it. So I started tapping along with these EFT tapping videos, and I noticed something while I was doing the tapping. I felt different. And I didn't have the words, the language, the knowledge to articulate what different was, but something was happening. And so that was enough to pique the curiosity to continue doing these videos. And then that led to me getting curious and actually kind of pumping the brakes to figure out, wait a second, is this real? Like, is there science behind it, or is it just the placebo effect? Because I'm a science girl, so I want it to be quote unquote real, right? So I befriended Google Scholar for a few days and was very satisfied with the findings, right? With the research that has been done. And so at that point, I was convinced, like, this is something that I really feel called, for whatever reason, to just travel down this path. And after that, it was kind of like the universe said, okay, here you go. This is what you want. We're going to give it to you. So I just organically came upon a weekend intensive basic training for EFT, just to learn how to do it properly, because you never know. All these tap along videos, I think they're a great place to start, but how do you know if you're learning the proper way to do it, right? So as a foundation, I did this program and I loved it. I did not anticipate enjoying it as much as I did, but then that led me to a certification program, during which I started working one-on-one with my own coach. And oh my goodness, it is night and day when you do tap along videos compared to one-on-one guidance. Wow, my life started to make a 180. And so now I'm in a position where I am so grateful and excited to be able to pay it forward, in a manner of speaking, and help other people learn about this technique and be able to not only heal from, whether it's relationship trauma or just, little things that have collected over time, but also just to have a tool that they can use in the moment whenever they need to self-soothe. And I think that is probably just, the cherry on top, because you don't have to make an appointment and drive to an office. And it's something you can do by yourself anytime. And I think that's really an empowering thing.
Well, from a very science girl too, but also a woo-woo girl, I think that email was profound for you and meant for you to see, because you were that desperate and it just called to you. And then now the end result is that's why it was called to you, because you are the person that's supposed to bring it through you to the other women or men or whoever you choose to work with. I love that story, because I love how things happen like that. Like when you really need something and you're open to seeing what's available to you. So my question, I'm going to go like back a little bit. So first and foremost, where did it come from? Who either made it up, or did it come from like a culture? Like where did the tapping come into play to help people with, healing or stress or anxiety? Where did that come from?
Yes. So tapping, the roots are aligned with those of acupuncture. So it's a hybrid, very much so, from Chinese energy medicine, which that's, the meridian lines that are utilized or stimulated in acupuncture. It's the same idea with tapping, or using our fingertips to stimulate acupressure points on the head and upper torso. And so the history lesson is the precursor to EFT was a technique, a modality called thought field therapy. So TFT, if we want to shorten it. This was developed by Dr. Roger Callahan, who in the 1970s, he and I think two other doctors, psychologists, they discovered that by verbally focusing on a problem or an issue, whether it was emotional or physical, and manually stimulating acupuncture points could bring surprising relief to their patients. And this was particularly around fears and phobias and physical responses to stress. And so this one guy, Callahan, he was, very, very intrigued by this. So he continued to develop thought field therapy and was teaching it to other folks. And in the 90s, one of his students, an engineer named Gary Craig, he was able to synthesize this practice of thought field therapy into a more simplified form, which involved fewer tapping points, and it made it way less complex. So that became what we now today know as emotional freedom techniques, aka EFT or tapping. And so it's, as I said before, it's a combination of, Chinese energy medicine, which we today will say, like, mainstream, we call it energy work. That's what it is. It's energy work meshed with elements of Western therapy. So think talk therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, and in some cases exposure. But the focus is on the energy in the body and helping to remove blocks, because when we're feeling like sad or angry, it's not like, I don't even know how to verbalize it. It's not just flowing, right?
It's not just an emotion. It's, for the listeners out there who don't really know much about this stuff or never heard of it, or they're closed-minded to it, please open your mind too, that and your energy is always flowing, through you, or you would like it to flow freely. And when we have these emotional and sometimes physical, and sometimes the emotion causes the physical blocks, that is what's causing you all the stress and health issues and all the things that people go to their regular doctor for and get medication for. We won't go down that avenue right now. So, but it's really just, that's what it was very informational for me, because like I said, I know a little bit about this, and I on purpose didn't speak too much to you before this call, because the podcast, because I'm intrigued by it myself, and I'm hoping the listeners are too. And there's not just somebody, 5 years ago made up something based on things that even in our country are very familiar with. They're familiar with acupuncture. They're familiar with energy. They're familiar with Western medicine. So it's just a newer, shall we say, newer way, or a different way to do something that you may have already tried. Maybe you've tried acupuncture. So I like the fact that you said it's something you could do by yourself, and that it is like acupuncture points, because now you have something where you could try at home, or try with, a practitioner like yourself to teach you how to do it, and not have to get in your car or go somewhere or have someone come and work on you. Because there's all, as you know, I'm sure there's so many types of energy work. There's Reiki, where someone can do it on you. Where this is something where, I'm all about helping yourself. I'm all about that. So this is a very unique way, and I'm like so intrigued by it. So how long did it take you? Like you said, you couldn't believe you saw results. Did you see results like almost right away? Like how long did you did you start to feel better?
That's one of those it depends questions, right? Like, what do you mean by results, right? Is it I'm feeling happy and confident most of my days? Because if that's what we're asking for, no. Because so think of it this way. I guess this is a good way to frame it and manage expectations, right? So if you're considering Western therapy, talk therapy, we'll stick with that. Is it reasonable to go to one session and expect everything to be quote unquote fixed, or you just feel completely like a new person? Not really. And I like to set that expectation, because with EFT, it is possible to get results like that. Is it something that we should be expecting? No, because everybody's different. Everyone responds differently to this type of therapy. And so I can't guarantee you that you're going to walk out of our session feeling like, you can go, I don't know, fill in the blank, whatever is your aspiration.
Like right? Everything's perfect in 5 minutes.
Yeah. But what I can guarantee is that you are going to be feeling calmer in your body, more relaxed. You're going to feel lighter. And for those who are like, what does that mean? What does it mean? You'll know when you feel it. Right. You'll know. You'll say, oh, that's what she was talking about. And also you will have greater mental clarity, because yes, we're talking about the energy in the body, but as you referenced, Elise, there's very much a physiological component to this, because it impacts your brain. It actually rewires your brain. It calms the nervous system, which of course, when we are stressed out, that fear or stress response, it doesn't care whether there's an actual life-threatening situation that you're dealing with, or if a family member that annoys you won't stop calling you. It's
Exactly.
the brain doesn't know. And so having a tool for you to just literally turn down that stress dial, it makes a world of difference.
And I think people, the listeners or people out there, they don't realize that they're almost on autopilot. When we're in this little world, because we're all in this helpful, in a community, we're very open and know a lot. We might not practice every little thing. Like, I've never practiced tapping, but we know about the body and the mind, body, soul connection, and
Mhm.
self-regulating the nervous system. The average person does not. And I think it's very important for them to hear that it's that it is just that. Like you may be saying, like, whatever, my mother-in-law keeps calling me every day, and you feel the stress in your body, and maybe you resort to things that aren't good for you. I don't know, maybe you smoke, maybe you overeat, maybe whatever it may be. But I don't think the average person, this is why I'm making this podcast, knows, like, wait a second, their actions are causing me to feel this in my body. How can I regulate my nervous system? Because guess what? Your mother-in-law might not ever stop calling you. Well, maybe she will. We can work on
Mhm.
that in a different self-help thing. But it's, how can you regulate your nervous system? How can you regulate yourself? How can you calm yourself so that you could react to whatever is going on around you in a better state? What state are you in? And I like love this stuff because it's something that I have never tried and done. And when I meant for you, when you see results, was exactly what you said. Like, you may not see, like a black and white result, but just like you said, in one session, you may feel calmer because
Mhm.
just speaking with someone like yourself. And for those of you who are listening that don't know, and maybe you don't know, I'm a former personal trainer and a professional figure competitor. So I equate everything to the gym. So, like, you equated it to, therapy. So it's like, if you went into the gym and worked out one day, do you think you're going to be at your end result that you want? It takes weeks, months, years sometimes. I
Mhm.
don't think this type of situation will take so many years with their emotions, but you have to have realistic expectations when someone's going to come and work with you and do this tapping. And I think what I'm feeling is, you're not only learning how to tap when they work with you, you're
Right.
also learning how to empower yourself, or maybe the deep things that are holding you back that you don't even know that are trapped in your body. So tell me a little bit more about that when you help your clients. So of course they're learning, like, do this, we'll get to that at the end, like the actual
Right.
physical part. But what else are they getting from you in their sessions when they're working with you to help them with whatever they're going through?
Yeah, great question. And I want to address a couple of things that you mentioned before, and hopefully I'll get them all in order. But I really appreciate what you voiced about how people are able to respond, and that's something that I tell people quite often is, it helps you learning this tool to be able to regulate yourself, like regulate your emotions, regulate your nervous system. It puts you in a position to respond rather than react,
That
right?
was the
Because
word. Sorry about that. I meant to say respond, not react. Thank you
yeah,
for the clarification, because
well, I
it's
mean,
two different. They're very different.
in context, I got it,
Yeah.
but they're different. They're different, right? So with response, at least in the way I understand it, the way I've experienced it, we're able to give ourselves pause,
Yeah.
right? And we have that mental capacity to have a moment and figure out, like, okay, what is the best way forward for me, for all the people who are involved in the situation? And so of course with tapping you're able to get that mental clarity, because I wasn't going to go into this, but
Right.
fits. The sciencey part is coming out. So what happens when we're stressed out is the blood in the front part of our brain drains towards the back, because it's the stress response. The amygdala, the stress command center in the brain, when we're stressed out, it sends out the signals, the hormones to the rest of the body. So the blood goes to the extremities to get ready to fight or
Really?
fight whatever we need to do. And because of that, we don't have the blood flow where we need it, because the front part of our brain, the prefrontal cortex, is responsible for our logical reasoning and judgment, right? So it makes sense that when you're stressed out, maybe you get frazzled, maybe you struggle with your words, it's because you don't have the physiology, the capacity, you don't have the blood where it needs to be in order for your brain to be functioning fully in the way that you need to make the actions, choices, decisions that you want to be doing.
I never knew. I mean, I knew about the prefrontal cortex, but I never knew the. I love this. This is why I like saying this. I'm learning. Our listeners are going to be learning that I didn't realize that like the blood flow. It's part of the physical aspect is why you like react. In that sense. Besides all the other emotions behind what may be going on in your first initial reaction, I didn't realize that like literally your blood is draining from your the part of your brain that you really need. So that's it's very telling. It's very I love that stuff because now people have like, well, actually now people maybe be like, my blood isn't flowing to my brain right now. That's why I said that. They're going to use it as
an excuse. People can interpret it however they want. That's their right.
I'm kidding. I'm a joke.
But I mean, it does sound extreme. I'll give you that. It sounds extreme, but that's
no, it's not extreme. It sounds it's just very interesting. Because it's actually physically happening to you.
Right.
When and I didn't want to interrupt you. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no worries.
But it's this like it's the same as I think we all teach in this field is it's that pause. If you could take that pause before you react, then you can respond in a better way. And what you do in between that pause and respond, it could be different. And you're going to continue to talk about your tapping because I interrupted you. I apologize for that. But I was so intrigued with that blood flow thing. So,
yeah. So in sessions, like, yes, as you were saying, absolutely correct. Clients learn how to do tapping appropriately. And obviously the goal, well, it may not be obvious, but to me it seems, but the goal of working with clients is not so they stay with me forever, right? I don't want them to have to feel like they can't do it on their own. The goal is to help them feel confident with this skill to be able to regulate on their own. And something happens in their life that, brings up some sort of emotional spike, or maybe they don't even know what's going on, but they feel off or just something's not right. They have tools that they can lean on and utilize so that they can get back to feeling like, okay, I'm feeling grounded, I'm feeling calm. Maybe it's just calm enough to do whatever the thing is, right. But they have the confidence. And like you said before, which again, spot on, it is very empowering because the way in which I teach this, and honestly, anyone who is a skilled practitioner should be doing it the same way, is that the way that we're measuring how we're doing in the session, it's subjective to the client, which means they're the expert. I'm not the expert on you, you're the expert on you. And I'm helping to navigate what's coming up and gently guide you in the direction of perhaps asking some questions that we don't want to ask ourselves, right? In order to connect the dots. And so it's like, we can go back to the example of like an in-law that perhaps you're not on, best friends with, right? So it's the difference between seeing them show up on your caller ID and like noticing that you're starting to get hot or like whatever is sweating, whatever your stress response is, versus being able to see that and remain neutral. And the amazing thing is, because from the aspect of energy work, is that when we work on ourselves, so again, sticking with the in-law example because it's easy. So let's pretend I have a real problem with my mother-in-law. If I start tapping, if I do the work on how she is impacting me, my response to it, what it reminds me of, and really just pulling at that thread and tracing it back. And oftentimes, it does go back to childhood, because as we go through our adult lives, we have this little trauma backpack. we never unpack it. And so that's part of the beauty of this. We can do that without having to really just regurgitate, verbal vomit, if you will, all the things. I don't need all the details. We just need to start with the feelings that are coming up, if you notice them in your body anywhere, and how big they feel. Like that's it. It's simple. And as we move through the process, it feels safer and safer to get a little bit deeper, right? So perhaps more details will come up and the client will be able to share more and actually articulate it without having that stress response, however that shows up for them.
Right.
So it's just, I mean, ultimately, it's confidence and empowerment is what they're getting, because they're able to navigate in their day to day without having to feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm just so anxious about interacting with this person or
Right.
this situation. Whereas we can address that in our work together and help you get to a place where you don't have to have that dread because it's no longer activating for you. So that's
Yeah,
where the freedom comes from.
and that's the ultimate goal for all of us when you want to help people, because I think people don't understand that anxiety or the feeling in your body just doesn't do wonders for your body. That it causes so much stuff that, illnesses, all the things. I can't think of, I was going to say specific, illnesses, but as a society, we think it's, oh, it's just, runs in the family, or it's this or it's that, but it's really stress. I mean, if you really take, even the medical society says stress is the number one killer, and it really is 100%. And because it lives in our bodies, and we may not be known that to us. Like I said, the average person, we're not in our country taught these things. We're taught, the opposite, actually. So this is a beautiful thing that people can turn to, and it brings me to my next question. So with a lot of energy work and self-help and, the things like I teach, and empowerment, accountability, all the things, I'll use the term do. So you could do them anytime, right? Because it's all like journaling. You don't have to only journal when you're feeling stressed. You can journal each day. So
Right.
with tapping, you mentioned like, when you're feeling this happen in your body, or you're feeling, the anxiety, and we'll use the mother-in-law again, or whatever stresses you out. Is it something that someone could make part of their daily routine as a calming, empowering, let's say like yoga or meditation? Could the tapping be something that could become part of a routine, as opposed to just something you go to if you are stressed out?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I would encourage that. And here's one reason why. So when I start working with clients, we have, I don't want to call it homework, we'll say inspired actions, right? At the end
I like that
to
word.
practicing. But like one of the first things that I recommend is that they do some form of habit stacking in which tapping is filled in. So habit stacking in the sense of adding it before or after you do something that you do routinely every day. So my recommendation, which might be kind of gross, but I mean, whatever, it's fine, is toilet tapping. And I learned this from my EFT coach. And I mean, it makes sense. So
Wait. Did you said toilet tapping?
toilet tapping, yes.
Okay,
So
with toilet.
for
Gotcha.
example, most
Better than being on your phone for a
people-
half hour in there, right?
no. So okay, let's say you get up in the morning. One of the first things many people do is they use the restroom, right? So why not, rather than looking at your phone, if you're one of those people who grabs the phone first thing in the morning, just tap one round, maybe 2 rounds of tapping, and just take 30 seconds, 1 minute to do some tapping while you're just sitting there. What else are you going to do? And is that going to make a huge shift in your day? I can't say for sure. I'm not you. I don't know what you're feeling. However, I can tell you it's helping to prime your body and your nervous system to start off from a more grounded and like calm place. And like, there's nothing negative. There's no adverse like reactions that can come from that. And so, as you're saying, making it a part of your daily routine to some degree, I think that's a wonderful idea, because yes, generally we're using tapping to help with problems. However, we can also use it to help us with like achieving goals and more positive things. And so, like, yes, there, I know affirmations are real popular, and I don't disagree with that. However, there is it's kind of conditional in the sense of, if you're trying to manifest something with affirmations, I support that 100%. But if you don't believe that it's true, if you say this affirmation, like, I'm a money magnet, whatever it may be, and there's a thought in your head that's like, well, yeah, but you're not going to attract what you want, because there's resistance. And so, once you remove that with tapping, you can totally tap into your affirmations and help just like embody that. So it's a relaxing thing that you can do just as daily hygiene, daily energetic, emotional hygiene. And of course, when things come up that you're feeling not so good about, you can help calm that down.
I like that, because I like to teach, like, meditation, journaling, and affirmations. And I always teach, you could say things till the cows come home, but if you don't feel it and embody it, and or believe that it can happen, it's a counterproductive. It's the resistance, like you said. And that's why we help people going, oh, it doesn't work. Manifesting doesn't work. Affirmations don't work, because you don't believe. So it has to come from the feeling, just like tapping won't work.
Well,
just
actually,
well, but tapping might not work as, what I was going to say is, like, as quickly, or as, what's the right word I want to use? As successful as quickly as maybe it could, if you're sitting there the whole time going, this isn't working, this isn't working. Like almost, I don't think that would be your case though, because people will be going to because they want to. I'm thinking about people who, like, you have to go to tapping to, because it says it in your divorce decree or something. You know what I mean? Like somebody forced. But, I forgot where my train of thought. This happens to me all the time. But I do believe in that too. It's like, you have to feel what you want. We feel our way to what we want. We don't actually action our way to what we want.
Right.
We want. So I'm like the mindset affirmation queen, but there's a whole thing about it. You can't just talk the talk. You have to feel it too. So appreciate you saying that.
Of course, otherwise you're skipping a step. But I do just want to chime in and say, skeptics are welcome. The door is open to skeptics, because of the physiological, right? The biochemical changes that happen with the tapping. It's not just a mindset thing. There's changes in your body. And because of that, we can have people who are like, this isn't going to work for me. And maybe it's not as big of a shift as you're anticipating, but I guarantee something's going to happen that you can notice. So it's, I mean,
if you hear that, people, everyone, she just guaranteed. So that's how strongly she believes in this. And if you listen to everything she's explaining, she has literal science to back it up, and the reasonings behind why it works. So I've never done tapping, so I would love to, we'll get to it either now or like towards the end of the call. Like, I never tried it, and I would love to learn so I can maybe add it to my repertoire of keeping myself aligned and connected to positive energy. So is there anything else you would like to tell, like, the listeners about the tapping? I kind of want to speak about, because I think you mentioned one of the things that you help is women in divorce, and women are divorcing, especially high conflict divorces. That's like, your body is in stress mode constantly, and cover all answer here, but usually high conflict divorce usually involve some type of narcissist, and we can get on the whole subject of narcissistic behavior. So when you're in it, you almost know that it's just, you don't know what's coming, and you don't really have any, tools to help you if you're just, new to the game, new to the self-help game. So I think tapping is such a good way, in addition to other things, obviously, for divorce, because unless you're going through rainbow and butterfly divorce, which I've yet to, there might be like one or two maybe that I've come to, when you meet people, they're usually not. And I think women tend to be like, how can I get him back? Or how can I this in court? And how can I this and that? And I like to teach, like, you're always looking outside. How can you do all these outside things? What can you do for you on the inside to deal with what's happening on the outside? So I like that this is a great way to segue your way into self empowerment with divorce. And like I said, like you said, it doesn't only have to be divorce, but I think it's a very, important thing for divorced women to hear, because I don't think divorce lawyers or friends and family are being like, you should really empower yourself through this. It's not usually the encouragement that people are getting in the court systems or with lawyers, or, maybe some lawyers are like, you can empower yourself, but I don't think they're giving them the tools. Like, have you tried to Sonia Pietruszka? She does this tapping and she helps divorced women get through that next court date that's coming up and life after that. So
yeah, I appreciate you saying that, because like the fear of the unknown, right? Like you said, they don't know what's coming. That in itself can be really paralyzing. And just like dealing with that, and just the disruption, right? Like, it's the rug getting ripped out from under you. Like, I understand that feeling. And so being able to, and this is going to sound like impossible, but being able to find some calm amidst what you're going through, that's what it can bring you, right? So when you're in the middle of that situation, are you gonna feel like everything is sunshine and rainbows? No. I mean, we're real people, we're human, but but being able to feel less paralyzed about the unknown, or feeling like you have some sort of control, right?
right.
It also it's empowering. It gives you a little bit of control over how you're feeling, right? You don't have to be a victim to someone else in how you feel. It gives you the power, and that's really important.
Absolutely. It's a tool, when you're going through that. I went through my own stuff as well. And unfortunately, I didn't know it actually molded me to be who I am today, and find all
Mhm.
the things. So I'm so grateful for it all. But yeah, I don't think, women going through divorce, or even men that are going through horrible divorces, or anyone going through something that's causing chaos within them, realize that they can control their I can't speak, calmness within them. Yes, you can find calm in the chaos of life, and like we spoke before, that calmness gives you power
Mhm.
to be able to handle the crap that's going on around you, because that may not ever stop. So it's a tool. And I want, the listeners out there to know that this is not a quick fix. This is not something that, you're going through something and you go to Sonia and, I'm done in, a week or two, or, you go for divorce and then you can't use tapping for something else. It's just, this is a tool, that you can use in your toolbox in conjunction with other things. That's, I wanted to ask you that too. Do you find that the tapping works best in and of itself, or do you like to give your clients things to, like you said, not habit stack, like with or habits they're already doing? Do you
Mhm.
actually tell your clients, we're going to do tapping, but I'd also like you to try XYZ?
Yeah, and of course it depends on the
Right.
situation. A lot of what you yourself recommend to clients, like in terms of maybe specific breathing exercises, or journaling is a big one,
Mhm.
because I feel like people are more open to resist self censorship when they're journaling, right? Whatever comes to mind, whatever you're feeling in the moment, and just actually, more often than not, one of the suggestions for clients I have is keeping like a little log of, pertaining to whatever we have worked on. But for example, it's just like noticing when you're feeling a certain way. And you don't have to do anything about it, but just being able to notice, oh, I'm feeling this right now. Maybe you'll do something about it, maybe you won't. That's not
Mm.
the point. It's gathering information about how you're functioning and how you respond, so that you can be better equipped to handle it when it happens again. And maybe there's some more stepping stones that need to be added that we work on together before a client is in a position to take a different action. But the mindfulness, the tuning in is really, really going to make a difference.
Yeah, it's so key. We all, until we learn this, you don't even know what you're feeling. It's the same thing. You pause, like, what am I feeling? And many people in my experience can't even label with a word what they're feeling. They're not even sure, and then so what, I'm sure you do the same thing, like, but where are you feeling it? Sometimes you don't even know where you're feeling it. So that in and of itself, I think, empowers people and wakes them up to their emotions and how they're feeling and how they react. So then you can tap and then regulate your nervous system. So that's a beautiful thing as well. So I would love to get a little tapping lesson if you would. So what exactly, this is what I would ask if I just signed up with you. Like, do I have to do anything? Should the room be quiet? Should I this? Should I that? Like, what is like the premise of starting your tapping session with you?
Okay. Yeah. So, preferably you're in a private space, but ultimately that's up to you, how comfortable you are with other people seeing you do tapping and or hear what you're tapping on, the subject. Obviously on my side, it's going to be quiet, confidential, but it's up to you. As far as seating goes, the formal recommendation is having sitting in a position in which your feet can touch the floor. It's not crucial. If you don't have any furniture, you're sitting on the ground, that's great too, right? And just being comfortable, I recommend having some water with you. And the reason for that is think about energy in the natural world. So think lightning. When it hits water, it moves, right? So it's the same idea with our bodies. When we're dehydrated, the energy doesn't move as easily. So at the end of sessions, you're very well hydrated. That's really what it comes to. There's not really many requirements. So there are 9 basic points that we will use. And in terms of what we're tapping on, that's for you, the client, to determine. So generally I will ask, like, okay, is there something that is kind of like that's been on your mind, that's weighing on you, something that you would just like to kind of shake off, right? That especially if someone comes to me and they don't have anything specific in mind, but they're just like, I feel like I need this, but I don't really know for what. So kind of like you were saying before, I don't know how I'm feeling. I don't know where I'm feeling it. That's okay. We can work with that. It's okay. I guess during this, if you can kind of think about in the back of your mind what you might like to focus on, we're also going to take a measurement. So at the beginning, it's subjective to what you're feeling, Elise. So on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 meaning it's doesn't bother you. Maybe it's not even there. 10 is like the worst thing ever. So between 0 and 10, how big does it feel in the moment? And then that's kind of how we're gauging how we're doing. And also if we need to kind of change the technique that we're using. So I will show you the tapping points and then we'll go through it. So we're always going to start a round of tapping on the side of the hand. So the fleshy part between your pinky joint and wrist. Yeah, perfect. Yep, exactly there. And you can switch hands midway if you want. It doesn't really matter. Then we'll move to the top of the head. And you can use 2 hands or 1. I'm just going to show you with 1 so I'm not covering my whole face. So you can do this with me. Okay. So you both look cool. Then we'll move to the front of the eyebrow, so basically where the hair starts. And then you'll follow the brow bone to the outer corner of the eye. So make sure we're not on the temple, we're in close to the eye. And then following the orbital bone just below the eye. So right above your cheek. Next point is just below the nose. It's a little awkward, but not too bad. Then we'll move under the bottom lip. So right in your chin crease. So up a tiny bit. in the crease of where your chin is. Yep, perfect. Okay, 2 more points. The next one is just under the collarbone. So if you feel where your collarbones start, those little knobs towards the center, if you go down and out about an inch, half an inch, this one's really forgiving. So if you're kind of moving around, it's okay. You're gonna hit a point. But generally, it's the official point here is just right below those collarbones. And then the last point, I'm gonna try to scoot my chair out a tiny bit so we can see. This one is under the arm. So for women, basically it's like at the top of your bra band, right under your armpit. So roughly 4 inches below. So we have three ways we can activate this point. We can do like what we're doing right now. We can strike a pose, right? One arm and then the other. That's option 1. Option 2, and this depends on your anatomy, your mobility. You can cross your arms in front, kind of like an embrace. And then our third option is to have our elbows out to the side, kind of like a monkey. So you can choose your favorite, and then we can release that. And if ever you need to take a wiggle or a stretch, I encourage that because it's energy moving through your body. So those are the points that we will use. And the only other thing I need to explain is that we're going to also add some voice. So we'll have a short dialogue about what you have in mind, and then we'll have some setup statements on the side of the hand. We'll say a phrase like 3 times, and then we'll say some variation of what you have shared at each of the points while we're tapping. And that's to help us keep the focus on that issue while we're stimulating the acupressure points.
Sweet. Can you give me an example of like a phrase that other people use, just so I know where to go with this?
Well, like it depends. So for example, like maybe you're just feeling stressed out, right? Maybe something happened in your day and you're like, like it's still bothering me. Or maybe I'm not saying this is you, this is more a general thing. Maybe you've gone through a breakup and there was this is a personal example from a couple years ago. And there was one specific statement that really just cut, and it's spiraling, right? You cannot get it off a replay in your mind. It can be very effective for taking away the sting of perhaps something someone has said to you. I mean, it's really the sky's the limit. And even if you're not sure, if we can even do tapping for breath, right? So for example, if you're feeling like, I'm not breathing as deeply as I think I should be, we can do some tapping around that as well. So I don't want to assign,
I don't know. I have an idea.
Sorry,
I said I have an idea, like what I'll use.
Perfect.
Just to let the audience know, I'm feeling freaking amazing today, but I do have something that lingers and bothers me, so we'll use it for that. Okay.
Are you open to saying what that is? If not, you can just give it some sort of title. That's fine too.
I'll give it a title as disappointment.
Okay. Okay, and is it safe to assume that's what you're feeling, or is there something else that you're noticing when you think of it, emotion-wise?
Yeah, I think my emotion is disappointed.
Okay.
Yeah, let down.
Let down, okay. And on a scale of 0 to 10, so again, 0 is low, doesn't bother, 10, worst thing ever. Thinking about it right now, how big does it feel to you?
Right now, it feels about, maybe a 4 or a 5.
Okay. And do you feel it anywhere in your body? Are there any physical sensations that you notice?
Not that I notice.
Okay. Okie doke. So in that case, we're going to go ahead and do some tapping on it. It will be very, very simple because this is actually a great example to show just how little information we need to start moving the energy.
Sweet.
Okay. So are you ready?
I am ready, but I'd like to let you know, because I forgot to tell you that when we were just doing the, just showing the points, I got like tingles and I got really cool feelings like in my head and my body. Not so much here, not as much here, but like on my face, top of the head. Like I actually felt a really cool sensation. So
Okay. I'm even more excited now. All right, so it's going to be like call and repeat. So I'll say the phrase, I'll pause, you'll repeat, and we'll move on, okay?
Mhm.
All right, so start tapping on the side of the hand, whichever one you want. If you want to switch midway, you're welcome to. It doesn't make a difference. All right, so let's do it. Just take a nice, easy breath to start. So breathing in through the nose, going out through the mouth. So do one more. All right, so even though I'm feeling this disappointment,
Even though I'm feeling this disappointment,
I choose to completely love and accept myself.
I choose to completely love and accept myself.
And I just want to check, does that feel okay for you to say?
Yes.
Okay. Just for the record, for everyone listening, we can change that. We don't have to say love, or we can change accept. We can change all of the phrasing to whatever feels comfortable for you.
I've been working with that phrase for a little bit now, so I'm comfortable with it now.
All right, so even though I'm feeling let down and disappointed,
Even though I'm feeling let down and disappointed,
and I know it's in my body somewhere,
I know it's in my body somewhere.
I accept that this is how I'm feeling right now.
I accept that this is how I'm feeling right now.
And I'm choosing to completely accept myself anyway.
And I'm choosing to completely accept myself anyway.
Okay, excellent. Last time here. Even though I'm feeling all this disappointment in my body.
Even though I'm feeling all this disappointment in my body.
And in my mind.
And in my mind.
I am open to completely and fully.
I am open to completely and fully.
Loving, honoring, and accepting myself.
Loving, honoring, and accepting myself.
And how I'm feeling right now.
And how I'm feeling right now.
Okay, so we're moving to the top of the head. All this disappointment.
All that disappointment.
Okay, eyebrow points. Feeling let down.
Feeling let down.
Side of the eyes. This feeling of disappointment.
This feeling of disappointment.
Under the eyes. All this disappointment in my body.
All this disappointment in my body.
Under the nose. I'm feeling let down.
I'm feeling let down.
Under the mouth. And I want to acknowledge that now.
And I want to acknowledge that now.
Collarbones. And I'm giving my body permission.
And I'm giving my body permission.
To let this energy move through me.
To let this energy move through me.
Okay, under the arms, whichever way is comfortable for you. And allowing this disappointed feeling.
And allowing this disappointed feeling.
To move through me now.
To move through me now.
All right, so go ahead and release your arms. If you want to take a wiggle or a stretch, go ahead. And then when you're ready, take a nice easy breath into the nose and out through the mouth.
That was wild because I'm trying to think where, like when we saying it all, like I have lower back pain and it wasn't bothering me at all till just now, till we started to do that. So that was wild for me for it to show up there in that particular spot for whatever reason, and people out there, it's not a coincidence. Not because I'm sitting here long or almost an hour in. It happened as soon as we started to do that and releasing, and it's still there. But I didn't feel truly emotional, but it made me like emotional, and it made me very aware that disappointment is important and the disappointment is valid and that I should honor the disappointment.
Yeah, I appreciate that sharing. And the back pain, I I think, as kind of counterintuitive as it sounds, I think it's a good thing that it's came up, because that's an indicator. Ooh, we're on the right track by tapping on this, because it is bringing up what has not been addressed, or what needs to be liberated, I guess we can say. That's a
Yeah,
empowering
I
way.
mean, it's just, it was validation, if you will,
Yes,
that
of course.
there's energy blocks. There's a lot of blockage there, and that's for the listeners who may be very new to all this. It is, as we said in the beginning of this episode, it is very, very valid. When you have pain in the body and sickness in the body, it comes from trapped emotions in the body. So I am a skeptic in a way. I'm not anymore. I'm not a skeptic, but I'm also like, didn't know anything about this, at all. And here I am. We didn't practice this. This is a live recording, and I'm proof that it does do something with the energy in your body.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you, put you on the spot, Elise.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, tuning into the disappointment on a scale of 0 to 10, how is it feeling in this moment when you think about it?
I don't think it's that much different, but my body feels so different. Even though the pain is in my lower back, just came out of nowhere. I feel, oh wow, I'm starting to feel it now. Like I feel, wow, almost like something in my stomach, like in my mid torso feels almost like tingly and lighter. I know it sounds weird. The
Not to
disappointment. Well, weird to maybe the people that are listening, but it's I feel a lot of tingly action in the front, even though the back pain is like, I actually feel like getting a little stronger now in my lower back, but I feel lighter, if you will.
Right. Okay. So would you like to do another round focusing on the back? Or is that opening a can of worms that you'd rather? It's up to you. I don't know your situation, but
Well, you don't know that I curse, but fuck yeah, I'd like to try and let's get work on the back. Yeah, why not? Because, and it's also, it shows the audience that, this is what you do and this is what can happen and help them. So absolutely. I don't
yeah.
think we'll open up a can of worms. I think we'll unblock my back energy. So let's see what you got.
Okay. So is there anything specific about the low back pain that you want to add or give voice to?
Yeah, like maybe, I mean, I don't know if, are you asking like, can we get answers? Because I would love to see what that energy block is.
Okay, that's not what I was asking, but that's fine. We'll see what comes up.
Oh, wait, what were you asking?
I just meant, is there anything about it? Like, how would you describe it? Is like, what is the sensation feel like to you?
Achy, tightness, spasmy.
Okay.
Nothing like, it's not a level 10 pain, but it's annoying. It's annoying.
Okay. And is this a familiar feeling for you?
Absolutely.
Okay. And the disappointment, this title?
Yes, but I'm, folks, if you're watching this, I am now, that feeling in my back is kind of going up, and like it feels like it's going like this, just to let you know. But yes, I'm a very very familiar with the feeling of disappointment and being let down.
Okay.
Wow, it's all going away already. Go ahead.
Okay, so side of the hand. Even though I am feeling this achy, tight disappointment in my low back.
Even though I'm feeling this achy, tight disappointment in my lower back.
And it's a very familiar feeling for me.
It's a very familiar feeling for me.
I choose to completely love and accept myself anyway.
I choose to completely love and accept myself anyway.
Even though I'm really feeling this disappointment in my low back.
Even though I'm feeling this disappointment in my low back.
And it came on suddenly.
And
I've felt this way for a long time, actually.
And I felt this way for a long time, actually.
And it's annoying.
It's fucking annoying.
There you go. And I'm choosing to honor that this is how I feel about it.
And I'm going to honor this is how I feel about it.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
All right, last time here. Even though I have this annoying disappointment, low back pain.
Even though I have this annoying disappointment back pain.
And I'm tired of it.
And I'm tired of it.
We've been friends for a long time.
We've been kind of friends for a long time.
And I think it may have run its course.
And I think it may have run its course.
So I'm choosing to love, honor, and accept myself.
So I'm choosing to love, honor, and accept myself.
And allow this energy to move through me.
And allow this energy to move through me.
With love and compassion.
With love and compassion.
All right, top of the head. All this disappointment in my back.
All this disappointment in my back.
It really wants me to know it's there.
It really wants me to know it's there.
Don't forget this feeling of being let down.
Don't forget this feeling of being let down.
Okay, something coming up?
No, it's like it went away and now it came back.
Okay. Here. This disappointment in my low back.
This disappointment in my low back.
This part of me that doesn't want to let it go.
There's a part of me that just doesn't want to let it go.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
I know my body is just trying to protect me.
I know my body is just trying to protect me.
Thank you, body.
Thank you, body.
Under the arms. And I am open to letting some of this disappointed energy.
And I am open to letting this disappointing energy
move through me.
Move through me.
At a pace that feels safe for me.
Can you repeat that?
At a pace that feels safe for me.
At a pace as fast as possible that feels safe for me.
I love that. Okay, so release your arms. Nice, easy breath when you're ready.
It definitely feels, it's like amazing. It really is.
Okay, so talk us through what's going on for you.
When we went the second time around, it definitely started to dissipate. You know, you feel movement. You know, I don't know if it let go, because when we got to here or something, I felt it again. Could be because I put my arms over, I don't know. But you definitely I feel movement. And it's not really moving. My back's not moving away, but I feel energy moving, or that tightness, or the whatever's stuck there is like kind of like doing a little dance.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty cool. I'm pretty. Okay. You know, I'm not shocked, but I'm shocked.
So, I get it. Even me, I know it works, and I'm always like, whoa. So that's very exciting. And again, curiosity. If you had to reassess, so 0 to 10 in this moment, thinking about the disappointment, does it feel the same, different?
Yeah, you know, feeling wise in my body, I feel lighter. Mm-hmm. Since the disappointment didn't happen right this second, it wasn't a high level anyway for me to be like, I think there have been so much disappointment that they're layered. So to say like, oh, the disappointment's gone, it's just, you know, I'm sure it's still there, but I definitely feel a difference in the feeling of my lower back, and I feel a difference in my body, like a lighter feeling in my body. So awesome. I'm proof, everyone. So there you go. I came on here not knowing, you know, what to expect. And if you don't know me or haven't been following me, I'm blunt, I'm to the point. And I definitely would have been like, you know, I'm not feeling anything. I appreciate, you know, I would say. So I'm
nice
like,
try.
What?
I said, nice try.
Yeah. No, I definitely, you know, I'm not here to, you know, stroke you or anything. I'm here to, I was very open to hearing about it. I'm very open-minded about all these great things that we have access to that a lot of people don't know about. And that's why I wanted to have you on my show, because I only knew this much about, like I said, and now we have my audience will now hear about you in this amazing way that may be able to help them through something that they're going through that maybe traditional therapy didn't help, or maybe even meditation didn't help, or all the other tools that help other people. Maybe it just didn't help them, and now they have a new tool to try and put in their toolbox, or in their serenity box, I should say,
There you
because so I so appreciate you having you
go.
coming on my show. See, it made me all light and airy. So I so appreciate you coming here and giving me a session, because I don't know if I would have ever went for one. I
Mhm.
don't know. And now I'm like really like, wow, this is awesome. So before we say goodbye, I would like you to tell the audience how you can, everything will be in the show notes, everyone, if you're listening as usual, but how can they find you, and what how can they find you, and like how long is the usual session, so they know like a time frame when they
Right.
sign up with you?
Okay, so I can be found on my website. It's www.taptoshinewellness.com. I'm on social media. Instagram is at Tap to Shine Wellness, Facebook page, LinkedIn, which is my personal name, Sonia Pietruszka, and YouTube. And as far as what to expect for sessions, I work virtually, which should be kind of a given, seeing how we just did this mini
Mhm.
session. But sessions are 60 minutes, and generally I do packages of 4 sessions. Again, going back to maintaining expectations, right? So
Mhm.
to give us the time and space to develop rapport and go at a pace that feels comfortable for the client. And then depending on how we are doing by the end of the 4th session, some people, as I said before, everyone's different. So some people within the 4 sessions, they get what they need and then some. We have some time to just play around with other things. And then, of course, other people need more because life
Right.
happens and we have to kind of pivot what we're focusing on. And that's normal. So
And
it is very
everyone's
important.
individual. It's just like anything, like we said before, with personal training, someone can get the results in 12 weeks, somebody, so everyone listening, you get your 4 sessions and you can go from there.
Mhm.
And well, this was amazing for me, and probably nothing for you because you're so used to it, but I so appreciate you being willing to do this. So now I'm going to ask you 2 questions.
Okay.
I'm big on affirmations, and what is your I am statement, because whatever follows I am is your truth, and it can change from day to day. But as a statement for today, what is your I am statement?
Oh, that's a good one. I was like, shoot, what is it?
Mm,
Okay, I'm gonna. This maybe is not what you're looking for, but I'm
okay.
combining what first came into my mind.
Yep.
Um, so I am following the feeling, or I am trusting my intuition. So initially, what I'm about is follow the feeling. Like that is literally what has led me here today. So
Yes.
I'm choosing to trust that I'm being led in the right path, which comes down to trusting your intuition, your body cues, and those urges that you don't know where they come from, but then you
Yes.
follow them. You're like, oh my gosh, wow.
Right.
So
No, that was perfect. It doesn't have to be one word. Sometimes it's, I am this, but that was great. I am following my intuition. And my
mhm.
next question I like to ask people, because not that you want to go backwards in life, but what advice would you give, let's say, your middle school self?
Ooh, whoa,
If you can
that's
give
a
like
good
one word of advice.
wow. One word, dang. No, I know you don't mean literally one word. Okay, what comes to mind first is that your opinion of yourself matters more than the opinions of others.
That's awesome. And that's profound. And we all need to know that, even as adults, you know?
It's hard. It's hard to learn as an
It
adult.
it is, but, what we think of ourselves is all that really should matter, and what anyone else thinks of us does not matter. So with that, again, I love this, talk that we had. I hope you had a great time as well.
You
Um,
did.
I hope that the listeners are like, "Wow, that was so cool," and, people call you and sign up. And if anyone listening has any questions to either myself or Sonia, please reach out. We're open for, discussions. If you have any questions or anything we discussed on the podcast, please feel free to reach out. Everything will be in the show notes, all our contact information, social media, and how to contact Sonia. And with that, thank you for being here. I wish you all much love and light.
Thank you.